Welcome back to the Pride Adventure podcast, where we spotlight the trailblazers reimagining the LGBTQ plus travel and outdoor adventure. I'm Chris Smith, and today I'm joined by Nick Reed, founder of Pride Expeditions and an international mountain leader based in northern Wales. Nick has led expeditions in some of the most remote corners of the world, and he's helping redefine what queer travel can look like. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Good morning, Chris.
How are you today?
I'm in Snowdonia in North Wales, and it's 7 o'clock in the evening, so it's a different time zone, but really good today.
We're doing 11 a.m. here in Los Angeles. I'm excited to have this call. First of all, I just want to say we're America and Wales, UK. We're excited to have you on, and we have some exciting things to share as we go through this talk today. We would like to learn more about you and your organization. Nick, I would love to find out what made you such a mountain man, your love for adventure and love for outdoors. Where did that come from?
Growing up, I always enjoyed being outdoors in nature. I found it quite therapeutic to just be in green spaces. I was quite lucky in school. I hated school. I was really bad at all the subjects, but we had a week away at an outdoor centre in South Wales in the Brecon Beacons mountain range, and for me that was the best part of school. I met some really influential people on that week who were the instructors that taught me and gave me a passion for the outdoors, which has continued to this day.
How old were you at that time?
15.
Oh, wow, cool. For me, it was a little bit like Boy Scouts here in the U.S. It was part of the Boy Scouts. 13 to 15 were so impressionable at that time. How remote is it where you live in northern Wales?
It's a village, so I've got neighbours, but it's a national park. Snowdonia is one of the most visited national parks in UK for its mountain range. It's got the highest in England and Wales, Mount Snowdon, which I can see out the front windows here. So we are not remote by US standards, but in the UK standards, I guess we are remote.
When we first started talking about working together, UK a lot of times is jumbled together, especially for us Americans. And I started looking at some of your adventures, some of the trekking and ropes climbing and all that stuff. What made you, so at 15 you got interested in this. What are the things that brought you into being an expedition leader and mountain instructor?
Like I say, I'm not a very good person to sit still, and I'm certainly not very good in front of a computer. So I wanted to be outdoors. I'm not very good as a tradesman, so I'm not very good at DIY at all. After that week away at school, I thought I could do this. Those role models, those instructors I thought I could become one of them. When I went to college, I did outdoor leisure, BTEC National Diploma, and then I went to university and did education and just continued 25 years working in the outdoors. Pretty much.
That's awesome. I'm trying to bring it together, like some of the college courses, and a lot of times it's forestry, or you can become a forest ranger and things like that. This sounds like it's a little different than that.
Yeah, absolutely. The US has qualifications to work in the outdoors. We have similar qualifications here. I worked my way through a mountaineering and climbing instructor, so I could take people rock climbing, and I really enjoy the development of people who want to progress, passion for the outdoors. They want to progress their climbing or navigation. Part of my role is helping people, like I was a young person without a clue, to educate how to travel safely in the outdoors.
That's great. Rather than just going out there and being like, I'm going to go get canyoneering and strap on a helmet and take a rope, and you go out there and you do it in a safe environment. I just actually got back from Costa Rica on a trip, and we did waterfall rappelling and all this stuff, and it's important to have that instruction. I want to mention is the connection in our company names, Pride Adventures and Pride Expeditions, which is pretty cool. When we're searching our own companies, we're seeing each other on Instagram or online. It really drew me to you guys. I saw some of your events, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I lead a lot of adventures, but I don't lead the types of adventures you do. Summiting Kilimanjaro, doing your Snowdonia training courses and all of that. I thought that was just so cool. I'm curious where the inspiration and how you started and how your team, I don't think it's just you, maybe you can explain that as well, how Pride Expedition started.
Yeah, we have a saying at Pride Expeditions, the best view comes from the hardest climb. A lot of people refer to Pride as hardship holidays.
Hardship holidays, I love it.
But it's not a hardship. All my holidays I have a team of porters or mules that will carry your bags. So for me it's important that it is still a holiday, but it's a holiday a bit more remote, a bit back to basics. And it all started with me, two personalities, an outdoor man, a climbing instructor, educating people in the mountains, but also a gay man. I almost had two lives. I lived in London, and every weekend I was spending the weekend in London or out into the mountains, explore and have fun. But it was almost like two conflicting personalities. Could I be gay and also be like a mountaineer and a climber? And that's when I met some influential people with Outdoor Lads, a UK charity for gay men, and they were like, you can do both, you can be an outdoor person. And I met people who want to go to Kilimanjaro, trek, the famous peak, the highest in Africa, but feel comfortable being a gay man going to Tanzania. And that's where the idea went in my head that I want to lead people to climb mountains regardless of who they are, or who they love, or their gender identity. People should be free to climb mountains.
And it's so needed in this world, and there's so many people looking for that camaraderie. We've talked about loneliness, all of these things that go through us when we're battling that struggle. Something that you mentioned that's really interesting that I saw on your website is that connection you have with Outdoor Lads. A lot of our listeners have been with me for a while as far as going through my journey. I started in an organization here in Southern California called California Gay Adventures. And I see the Outdoor Lads, and it's a very similar, because now CGA, California Gay Adventures, is a not-for-profit organization like Outdoor Lads is, which is really neat because I work with the CGA very closely, and I know you work with Outdoor Lads very closely, so I see that kind of synergy that really works with those types of organizations. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing how people that are suffering from depression, a bit of anxiety maybe, they're nervous about being in group environments, but you take them outdoors, it's a bit of therapy, get away from it, and that's what Pride Expeditions really is about. It's to equip people to say, yes, you can do this. You might not think you can, but you've got to have that self-belief.
What makes Pride Expeditions different?
Yeah, I think Pride Expeditions is about really getting to know a country by getting into the remote places. Like I say, in Nepal we're trekking, staying in family-run tea houses, meeting the family that will cook for us. We are trekking with local guides that I've known for 10-15 years, meeting their families and going to their homes. So it's really getting to know a place and the people. And these people, like I say, I've known them for a long time. Before I started Pride Expeditions, I used to lead youth trips overseas. I've always been a gay man, so I've always been open about that. So knowing these people in Nepal and Tanzania, I had the contacts then to say, look, you know me, I trust you will support me in my drive to open the mountains of the world to everyone.
That's awesome. I didn't think about that. So there was literally a moment where you're already running tours and you're that guide, and then you have that conversation with maybe that family that doesn't even know you're gay and say, hey, here's what I'm doing. I want to open this up to everybody. What was the reception like from these families in very conservative places like Nepal or Kilimanjaro? How did that come? Was it difficult for you to ask those questions?
Pride Expeditions is not just me, there's also my husband who's a doctor. Having those conversations really came when he started travelling with me. He worked as a doctor in a health clinic in the mountainous region of Nepal, right below Everest. He volunteered as a doctor up there. I managed to coincide my treks to go past where he was working for the International Porter Protection Group as a doctor. He then met Harry, who's my local guide. Harry is the most welcoming, open, caring person I know. So he then supported Rich, because Rich was actually out in Nepal longer than me, so made sure that he was looked after up in the health post. And then Harry was actually such a good friend now of both of us that we invited him to our wedding.
That's awesome. Congratulations. When was this? Was this recently, or was this been for a while?
We were due to get married in COVID. It was postponed. Harry, his wife and son couldn't come to our wedding, so they said, you've got to come to Nepal and get married after COVID. We went to Nepal and had a Hindu ceremony on a riverbank with Harry and his family.
That is so cool. I just love what we're doing. It's something you truly have a passion for. You can just tell. And we both know it's not the easiest way to make money either. But it's one of those things. We enjoy the community of it, the camaraderie, making relationships, going to these places and seeing what it does to other people. I just got back from Costa Rica, and there's a gentleman that went with us, 77 years old, and we were doing all these very adventurous things. He said, you gave me pep in my step and laugh in my breath. He goes, it wasn't too difficult, but I was a little worried about doing some of these things, and he did a great job. So
yeah, absolutely. You can really see people grow on a trip. I'm going to Morocco tomorrow with a group in their 20s. A lot of them haven't travelled to many European destinations, let alone a completely different environment like Morocco, you see people quite white,
Yeah.
but then really get into it and relax. It's about
Yeah.
growing together as a group.
I just wanted to ask one more question. Where do you guys go? Like, as far as if you had to rattle off 5 or 6 places that you typically go to, you already said Nepal, you said Morocco, you said Kilimanjaro. Are there other typical trips that you do?
Yeah, you referred to being unique, aren't we? We're taking unique groups to a world that's not that welcoming to LGBTQ people. So for me, it's really important that I know who we're going to visit and who's going to support us in a country. So my in-country agents are critical to me. Networking-wise, got contacts. Peru is a super popular destination for us. Morocco is super popular because
It's inexpensive. I saw the price on your website. I couldn't believe it.
it's super cheap, but also it's the altitude. So when you're going above 3,000 meters, you'll start feeling the effects of altitude. So Tubkal is 4,200, so it's a good starting.
For Americans, it's 15,000 feet.
I think it's a really good starting one for people to go for their first altitude peak before they perhaps start on something big like Everest Base Camp, which is a super popular one again for us, or Kilimanjaro. And then after we go to Patagonia, I've got contacts who will support our ethos of being welcoming to people. That's where we go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nick and I have been meeting, and we made a decision. We have similar names for our companies, but they're very different. Yes, I took a group to Peru. My husband and team did a train ride, and some of us did the 3-day journey. It was actually 4 days and 27 miles. We got up to almost 14,000 feet elevation, which was pretty cool, but we don't do a whole lot of those. I was thinking of putting together a partnership with Nick where some of our members and clients might be interested in trips like Nepal, Everest Base Camp, Morocco, or Kilimanjaro. We don't have a lot of time here, but we're going to promote to the Pride Adventures clients and members. Nick's actually going to kind of turn around and do the same for us, for 2 trips for Pride Adventures, for maybe some of his clients that maybe want to slow down just a little bit and do a little bit more of a tour with other gay men as well. So what we decided to do is what Nick just said. Morocco is a really good kind of training course and a training ground and an inexpensive trip that you can go to. They have one coming up in October 2025, and Nick can talk about that in a second. Drum roll, for my 50th birthday, I have been debating this a lot because I'm a little worried about my abilities, but I am committing on this show right now. I'm putting my deposit down, and we're going to be doing Kilimanjaro 50th birthday in February 2026. So I'm super excited about that. I'm sure this is normal. People are just a little freaked out about going that high and hiking that much, but I'm so excited. Maybe you can go over both of those for us, just a brief on both of those.
Chris, you're going to be amazing. You're going to love Kilimanjaro. I tell you, like, you will be breezing up that mountain. The trip is totally accessible. You're an active outdoor man. Anyone who can walk for like a 6 to 8 hour day. The days, we're not covering huge distances. It's all about acclimatizing.
I saw that it was like 8 kilometers to 10 kilometers a day. That's 5 to 7 miles, I think.
It's not far at all. There's another adage from acclimatization that a lot of people know. Climb high, sleep low. So we always go up a little bit, go down a bit, and we're never gaining much altitude per day. It's all about acclimatizing slowly to enable the greatest success on summit day. I think you'll find that it's a really easy trip. Apart from the summit day, it's definitely a massive challenge where you have to step outside your comfort zone. We'll be getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, setting off through night, and then top with a beautiful sunrise, Tanzania and the African plains. The thing with Kilimanjaro, you don't see any of the mountains for hundreds of miles. It's the only mountain in East Africa, really.
That's going to be the bucket list for me. When you mention it to me, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm excited about that. I know there's a couple safaris afterwards. We'll meet, go to the mountain, take several days to get up to the top, and then afterwards I think there's a couple days of safari.
Yeah, for me it's really important that you're going all that way, Tanzania. It's important you get to see a bit of Tanzania as well. We go to 2 of the best safari parks in East Africa, the Ngoro crater. It's like a giant feeding bowl for lions. There's all the antelopes, and at the bottom the lions occasionally descend into to have their meals. We also go to Lake, which is a tree climbing lions. The most important thing to mention about the safari is it's all supported by women guides with a women's empowerment organisation in East Africa. But Sophia and her guides are the only all-women guides working in Tanzania.
I think that's really important for us, and part of our mission and vision as well is trying to support organizations, even marginalized groups.
Yeah,
When we went to Peru to the Women's Weaving Co-op, which was really cool, and that
yeah.
was just pretty fun. Morocco, the flight over to Morocco is going to be way more expensive than the trip because the trip is like 700 pounds. I don't know what that is in US dollars, maybe $800.
I was trying to do actually converting on my phone, but just a chance. But my website converts. If you pay in dollars or whatever currency you pay in, my website will convert it.
Yeah, it'll convert it for you.
In your local currency, so don't worry about that. But yeah, £700 for a week. That's including food, accommodation, meals to carry your bags. Hassan is my local cook who will come with us on the trek, make delicious pomegranate, orange salads with goat, also lots of vegetables, all locally sourced, fresh food while we trek through the Atlas Mountains. So again, we're going on a trek to acclimatise. It's a 3-day trek, culminating in a stay at the Mouflon Refuge, which is right below Mount Toubkal, the highest in North Africa, 4,200 metres. It's an early start, 2 o'clock in the morning. To sum up Toubkal, you'll see the sunrise over the Sahara. When you see that sunrise, it's just so vast. You can see nothing but sand.
That would be epic. I can't make that one because I'm going to be on one of our adventures, which we're going to talk about next. As I mentioned, there's going to be people that love the really active stuff that Nick does and also want to go to Italy for 2 weeks. Nick is going to be sending out a newsletter to his clients, and we're going to talk about some of our trips. 2 of the trips we're talking about are our Italy with Pride trip, which is in September, end of September, so it's right during the Morocco piece. We'll be going from Venice to Florence, then Naples, to Sorrento, Rento, Amalfi Coast, and then to Rome. I'm excited about that. If you share this with some of your clients, if they're interested, they'll be traveling with me. I'll be the host. We go with tour guides as well. We'll make sure that we're completely taken care of. I'm not driving the van. I might do that in America, but not out of the country. And then our other trip is in late October, early November, central Mexico. If you've heard of Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, and it's a really neat time. If you haven't done it in Mexico, it's just a neat time to see the culture and experience that. This is an invitation for all the Pride Adventures clients. You're invited to the Morocco expedition, October 2025, and you are invited to join me for Kilimanjaro in February 2026. And then, of course, we'd like to invite anybody part of Pride expeditions to join the Pride Adventure family in Italy or Central Mexico, or check out our websites and pick something else.
Yeah, for me, this is all about an alpha renter and my customers saying you don't need to camp all the time. You can go on something a bit more luxurious. You've done your dues. All my clients, thank you for your endless walking and staying in tea houses. But I think teaming up with Chris here means that we'll be able to go for a bit more compared to my
Maybe luxury and compared to camping. No, they're not always 5-star, but they're pretty good. Most of our hotels and stuff we stay in are typically around 4-star.
Yeah.
We don't go the next level because we wanted to keep the prices down a little bit. Check out our reviews online. We're moving and shaking. I know both of us are. And the cool thing is we both started at the same time, 2017. Pride Adventures wasn't a name. It was part of CGA, but it was just what we were doing. Our first Costa Rica trip was 2018, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Kilimanjaro for us is next February. We've got 10 spaces.
Okay.
So that's 9 now because you're booking.
Yeah, so there's 9 spots, and I'm putting this out this weekend. So let's see if we can get those spots filled. I'm going to put in my deposit before I send out that so I can have my commitment in. And you offer deposits with payment plans, is that correct?
What happens is you pay your deposit. The trip is already confirmed because we met minimum numbers. Then we'll have a payment schedule up to the trip.
Perfect. We do the exact same thing. It works. Both of our systems will convert pounds to US dollars or US dollars to pounds. I'm just excited about the opportunity of travel for queer individuals. Someone like me, a cis gay man getting out and traveling the world, people don't even question if I'm gay. I think it's great to offer others options.
Pride Expeditions is open to all. The trips we're talking about, the Morocco and the Kilimanjaro, are mostly 90% gay men or trans men, perhaps bi men is the market for those trips. But I do partnerships with other organisations, queer hiking groups, where the split is much more towards women, trans women and non-binary people. For instance, I go to Morocco, and this next trip about 80% women and trans women from the queer community. So Queer Hiking Bristol, that group is...
We're doing something similar. With Pride Adventures, my vision is typically the people that go with me, like Costa Rica, are all men. I can't lead a lesbian trip. I just don't think the ladies would like me. My sister, who is lesbian, definitely agrees with that. We've partnered with Lynn from Women's Adventure Travel. She'll be on our next episode, which is really exciting. We're also actively looking for other partnerships like that Bristol hiking group of queer and trans organizations or people that want to lead trips. I would be more than happy to work behind the scenes and work with people that have a passion for this and that would like to lead a trip that we can make work. So I see this growing and developing as we go.
Yeah, I think we're both working towards the same aim, to open up the world to travellers from the queer community, be that LGBTQIA. Everyone needs that group to travel with, to feel welcome, accepted, safe as well. Really important. It's great that we're doing the same thing.
Absolutely. So to wrap up this talk, where can people go to learn more about Pride Expedition?
Yeah, my website, like I say, we're UK based, so it's a .co.uk. It's Pride Expeditions, all one word, .co.uk.
And if you Google it, just put Pride Expeditions in Google, it'll come right up.
So that's
You have an Instagram page that shows some of the things. Nick, I just want to say thank you for coming on this podcast and helping share our passion across the world. I see this working really well for both of us, and I look forward to coming on Kilimanjaro and sharing all the photos and videos and all that stuff we're going to do from there. Hopefully we'll be able to move on and plan a trip. I have 2 friends in Nepal right now, and I'm seeing their pictures, and I want to do that one next.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm going to get 30 porters singing happy birthday to you. Really good singers, so don't worry.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
If you liked this episode of the Pride Adventure Podcast, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching and keep adventuring with Pride.